also. So basically, what we want to do for the next, let's see how long it takes. It depends on depending on your input and how much we can delineate the next steps and the future plans of the project and the network. So basically, what we're gonna do now is first of all is presenting our new brand pSESYNTH website. So yeah, Paula will give you much more details and how it works, how people can be, participating, joining in the project and appearing on the website, because also we want to specifically everybody be present there and be visible to the entire community. So this was one of our first objectives at the beginning, but all the visibility and the website presence has been a little bit procrastinating, but since Paula joined us, so this meant a game changer for the project. So thanks, Paula. I know do you want to, how do you want to do this? So I can open the website, or you want to introduce a little bit first? You can over.
Yeah, you can leave that
Okay.
slide, then you help me maybe. Yeah, so thank you for the introduction, and for everyone, I think it's, at least for the project, a pleasure to present this website. And you have seen in these 3 days already a subliminal message in our presentation. So the background of the slides are giving you a hint of our new brand or our new web page.
You're muted, Paula. For some reason, you press the. Yeah, now.
I just said that I just sent in the chat the link for the web page, so you can now all enter there. And Xavi, you can also show it in the screen. I don't want to show it like all, but please go ahead yourself and explore the web page. It's still, of course, under construction because it's going to be with the help of everyone. If you go, so we have a very general information. We have this homepage where we describe our project. And if you go down, of course, our funded research, INQUA, and then this nice button of join us, please share it, please click in there, and you will find this Google form where we are asking you your name, institution, and your general information. And the important part is a little bit lower when we are also asking for maybe data that you might have that you want to contribute, or that you just want to be part of this project. And at the very, very bottom, we are asking for a picture of you if you want to be shown in this website. So you will see that in the website, there is a space where we have our faces, like who are the coordinators and who are the participants involved. So if you want to appear there, please fill in this form, send your picture, and then you're going to be showing in this part. Something else that you will see here is also the news. So when we are meeting, for example, it's already a news of the INQUA when you meet in Roma, and also this workshop. And of course, all this has pictures also. So for that, and for the ones that have been taking photos now, I saw Karina and Colin also taking pictures there. Let me just share this one. I'm pasting in the chat. This is a folder in Google Drive where you can please include all the photos that you took in this workshop. And then later on, I will upload it to also a lot of links. The gallery that is going to be shown in the website, of course, but you can also visit this other link, which is going to be the gallery for all the pictures that we are going to have in the project. So I don't know, meetings, online, offline, in presence, or whatever related to us. And yeah, maybe you want to show the gallery, Xavi, the last link that I sent.
Yes, wait, because I'm a little bit lost with so many open tabs here now.
Yes.
It's it's now. Yeah.
This is going to be also in the website, so don't worry if you lost this link. You at the end are going to find the pictures. But just if you only want to share also this to other colleagues to get them involved, this will be really nice to share.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Super
yeah.
nice. Yeah, please get yeah, thank you, Paula. Wonderful. Yeah, please share your pictures, upload them in the Google Drive folder, and yeah, and also more importantly, perhaps is to distribute the word that we also have this website as a centralized, platform to showcase the project and show who we are and more importantly what we do and what we like to do. So yeah.
Yeah, what are project resources? That's exactly what I was going to.
Yeah, so here we're gonna slowly adding anything related with the outputs of the project. So up until now we have two main, let's say, outputs. That is the this article that we published last year. It was a multi-author, so we invited everybody in pSESYNTH that wanted to appear. Here is a kind of overview of the pSESYNTH project, its conception, its idea, and the objectives. And then last year we also presented the same type of similar overview in INCUA Rome conference. So yeah, you can download here the two files. And yeah, I don't know if anybody has I don't know, an idea of what else we could also add here in the website or showcase. That would be also wonderful. Please get in touch with us and with Paula more specifically, who is the web designer and the wiser behind the scenes. So yeah, please get in touch.
Yes, any suggestion? It's
exactly.
And of course, it's going to be getting bigger and bigger, I guess, within the process of constructing or continue with the project. So some more details are going to appear later on, but also if you have any idea now, Sarah, maybe you wanted to. Yes.
Yeah, just I didn't thanks first of all for a very nice website. It looks amazing. But just I didn't have time to go through all the tabs, but maybe just a big map of the whole countries and the areas that the pSESYNTH project is covering, because so far, yeah, I saw it, but a little bit bigger, or maybe an interactive map, or something that has a meaning, something that you can click on it and gives you more information. So I'm working in this continent, so who's in this continent, which country is in this continent, or
Yes.
which country is part of the pSESYNTH in this continent where we do have more data and so on. And this kind of interactive maps would be interesting. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. We already considered that, and also that's why the reason we are willing for you to fill in the Google form, because there we are going to have those details of where you are, which area you're working, and then we can have like this, interactive map will be really nice. You click in the country and then you will see the researchers that are working there or that have some connection, and your faces are going to appear there. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think one sorry, yeah, one more objective which Chavi we didn't explicitly put on the slide, which we should have, is actually identifying regional teams or regional representatives who are already there, right? So I think Sarah has been working on Asia, Africa extensively. So we do have, of course, Peter is around, Olumide has been around. So why don't we actually have, people's picture if they're comfortable sharing them, and at least, regional teams sort of lined out for people to look at so they can get in touch with those teams respectively, right? So that is one of the aims that please have your name sort of engraved for that sub-region of Global South during this meeting. We can have a small, pSESYNTH seal on it unofficially. As such that, yeah, so if we can just gather around more and more frequently and work on those respective regions, people can get in touch and say, oh, I have these similar issues, not then should I just see this person versus, talk to the central team, so-called, something like that. That will create sort of this, sort of self-sustaining kind of mechanism, which Chavi and Ignacio, Manu and I always envision, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I particularly liked Sarah's ideas, or I don't know to what extent the back end of the website can accept, or we can embed some sort of this map. So this is probably not updated. Is where we actually have sites in our database. Maybe we can add something similar with a summary of the distribution of the site, or even where the participants are located as well. So every time you click on it, it appears some sort of descriptors of that ideally would be there when you click on the join us button and you fill in all the fields. It should appear in this map as well from the participant side of things, and then we have the data. Well, anyway, also, because this is also a lot of work, and more importantly, to maintain and not to have a dead website. This also would like to be as a call of contributions and people who you don't need to be super expert in building databases. We only would be more than okay to have a couple of extra hands in helping out Paula. So yeah, please get in touch to also maintain and get this website updated and dynamic and alive. So yeah.
Share it everywhere, please.
Yeah. And then so one thing which I promised Paula for ages and I haven't given is sort of nice editing, of the content which already is there, which I will. But if anybody has comments and inputs on that, please do send us. Second thing, I think, Chavi, what we could include is the templates, right? So the way we do it, and then we can ask people to email it to us. So I think people should be able to find everything they need for
That's a very good
pSESYNTH.
suggestion. Yeah.
Right. So maybe where we say project resources, we can have a tab where we say, data templates, whatever else we have. We also have, we keep calling it constitution, that collaboration and data sharing guideline. So maybe something like a replica which can exist there. Not necessarily everybody can access it on the web without any hurdles or anything. But there are access issues, I think, that we need to tackle. But a copy at least has to be there, a physical PDF copy, maybe. A physical, I'm sorry, PDF copy, I mean. There under project resources as well, that is up to date by this and this date. So please come back if you want to see something. So those two things I just thought very quickly that those could be easily added and could be directly beneficial for people. Yeah. So Peter's hand is raised. Yes, Peter.
Oh, hey, I just wanted to ask, is there like a link to X for the project or no?
Link to, sorry?
To X, Twitter, to Twitter.
No.
you
We don't
know,
have for Twitter. So we are publishing in our private accounts and then resharing. But the project doesn't have any specific account for Twitter.
Yeah, we decided what happens is I think we many of us have tried developing a handle or having a specific handle for our respective projects at some time, and then eventually those handles sort of get redundant because those projects they sort of end. So instead of that, since it was sort of and we always wanted it to be people's voice for pSESYNTH. So I think it was very natural. We didn't even thought about it, Chavi, right? So Chavi started tweeting about it. I started. Ignacio, of course, was around. Manu does it to an extent, and Paula is very good at it as well. Now that Paula has joined, so I think we use hashtag pSESYNTH, and that's what we take it forward. So that way, all the pSESYNTH tweets are linked, and that's the I think whole purpose of hashtag anyway, right? So I think even if we had a handle, we would have just handled it the same way, I think. But we didn't want to add another entity to it and then not find anybody who can manage it. So it's very difficult to actually manage all these different channels. So instead of that, we just thought it would be easier to have it here. But of course, we are connected on Twitter, right? Each of us, whoever is around here, whoever is on Twitter, because we are a smaller community of paleo scientists. So we are on each other's Twitter anyway. So I think that's the way it might work best. But if you think there is sorry, yes, Paula.
No, continue, please. Sorry.
No, you were saying something.
I was just going to ask if people here has a Twitter account, that maybe if you want to share it now in the chat, so I can then, add you in all the comments that we are posting, and then it's easier to connect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so I think and I think so I think I can forward you the tweet, Paula, because in one of the it was not collaboration and data sharing guidelines workshop, but I think before that, even for in Coroma, we do have a long list of participants who have been with pSESYNTH since the beginning and then joined and whatnot and their Twitter. So I think I have their Twitter handles on one of the tweets. So if you want, I can just forward it to you.
Yes.
And of course, Karina has forwarded hers. And So I think I have a stack of Twitter handles from the people who have been involved. Yeah. And those who have been less involved as well, to just get them more engaged and involved. So I think I have a long list of it. Let me just send it to you right away.
Thanks.
great. And okay, so now for basically it's gonna be the last part of the workshop. What we wanted to do is delineate and discuss with the group what we can do together and start thinking about a collective timeline or collective agreed timeline for the 2 remaining years that we still have, let's say, funding from INQUA to run pSESYNTH, right? So for this year, 2024, basically, besides this workshop, it's gonna end today. I'm gonna report everything back to INQUA and as well to all of you with a tentative, let's say, deadline for the top priority questions manuscript, call for contributions, and also Gerbrand's manuscript. We'll be in touch with you all. And we also need to start thinking about a potential deadline for the first version or early version of the database, right? Which can be easily linked to the next physical hybrid meeting in India, where I guess Cheruta can chime in and we can discuss a little bit more about potential locations, potential dates, and so on and so forth. Because again, the idea initially was to hold all the meetings in a Global South location, but for organizational issues and and something that has to be with a deadline to spend the money, the first year grant. So we had to run a little bit. This is why we organized this first hybrid meeting here in Spain. So yeah, basically, to be an open discussion about who can contribute or who can commit to participate into these two big, let's say, deadlines or projects or sub-projects. One is the database, and whoever has not provided data, think about if you want to contribute with data or want to explore what is available out there to get this co-location, right? Site of records or reduced site of smaller compilation of records that speak to the three different themes of the project. That would be one option. The other option would be, again, to continuing or following up the sub-regional based efforts to try to mobilize more people, more data. Yeah, this is an action that the coordinators of each sub-region should get in touch with the participants. And more importantly, again, is this the manuscript draft for the top priority questions, in which we have spent quite a lot of time these past 2 days with the Jamboard and all the ideas. So Charuta will kind of champion this effort. No, Charuta, with the help of the three of us, or the coordinators, and of course, going to be a community-driven project. But again, somebody needs to make the first push. That's always the case.
And once again, so I mean, I am always that person who is so happy to take notes. So I mean, I didn't do anything which was not natural to me. So we did that. I think what we did at the end of the Inqua Roma is like, we collected those papers. I collected those papers and I put them in that Google Drive, Google Doc. And so it exists there. And I do know like how each region have been doing and whatnot. And so I literally had that in mind. And that's how I think I just thought it was very important to sort of replicate that exercise, right? So if you want to just move to that document, Chavi, that would be a good idea as well. So I think yesterday we took a glance at it. So this is exactly what I have, a very crude one at the moment. I think mostly thematic, certain thematic ideas and questions, then certain region-specific ideas and questions. And at the end, day before yesterday, I'm sorry, when we met, that we do have certain questions which came up. Some of these questions sort of coincide with what we have. So once again, I'll sit properly and then just gather notes and see what basically comes out. And then maybe I can be a good manager and outsource certain sections to certain people. For example, that if I need really clear input on archaeology, Colin could be a person who has always, already given a certain, so something like that. So it doesn't have to be, so I can be sort of, as I said, a good manager. At the end, once I sort of have understood the whole picture in general. So definitely. And from my perspective, it's 26th of June today. February is going to be slightly tougher in terms of work for me, but March can be a good month where I can sort of get the first draft is still away, but I think I can get a very good skeleton on which we can work. So I think March can be the month, by mid-March. I'm pretty sure I can work. So if you want to have a little bit of leeway, then I say by the end of the March, I will definitely get something. If we get it sooner, we can just get it triggered sooner. It's not that, So does that timeline look fine to everybody? I would rather want to do it, like sooner while we are in the mode, while we are thinking about it. Same goes for me. But practically speaking, it might be March. Right? Anybody has any comments, inputs? Agree, disagree? Work fast, work slow? Any suggestions?
Of course, this
Yeah,
is
but I think
yeah. I mean, yeah. Thanks to that. Of course, this is a balance, finding the balance between leading and putting everything in order what we have discussed these last 2 days, but also we probably will reach specifically certain persons to to complement some aspects after we have put everything together. So please, I don't know, yeah, try to be ready for
yeah. So I mean, you know, I can be bossy whenever needed or at all times. You know that already. So I mean, I'm totally fine basically to get it all together and then sort of manage in the sense. But in order to manage, one thing we definitely need today is regional teams sort of lined out, making sure that we already have those, but then once again, those people sort of committing to those tasks. Certain tasks first could be, let's say, contributing to the perhaps respective subsection. That is one of those things, one of those tasks. And then on top of it, we definitely want one data related inputs, be it, fetching from other databases and whatnot. So I think each of us is happy to do it. But once again, let's try to find out that group. Let's commit to that group, that sub-region perhaps, and sub-region and then sub-theme to an extent if you want to have sort of bifurcation within those teams. And then, data related, because data paucity or data gaps is a very important question to address sooner than later, isn't it, Chavi? So if that's the case, then we definitely want these teams to function.
I guess if we want to link the data, I mean, the first or try to release the first version of the data of the database during or before the next meeting in India, we can think about what potential days would be good for people to try to travel. Well, try to travel. So we're gonna follow kind of the same funding scenario in which we provide travel funds to support participants be there, but of course it's really difficult to provide a whole set of money, pocket of money to pay everything for everyone. So again, we invite people to come and support certain aspects of their travels, but unfortunately, the amount of money that we have left for the project doesn't allow us to to pay for air tickets to everybody. So maybe what is it here? The database timeline or deadline, it's going to be strong. We can put in our radars the next meeting in India as a potential date in which, okay, this is what we have now, and let's work from that.
Yeah, so I think what criteria we decided, Chavi, for this workshop, same applies as well. So if you and I can remember, we also got an email from Paula Rodriguez Zorro, if you remember.
Yeah.
Right? She said that it would be a good idea to have it in the Global South, and why couldn't we have it? And she is actually an assistant professor in one of the universities in Colombia. So she said she could be happy to host it. So if more people are there and it is closer to travel to Colombia than India, then we could also think about it. But let's talk to Paula and let's find out the practicality of it. Here, of course, you are most welcome. I am at India's one of the biggest institutions at the moment, although at a very new school, which is School of Sustainability. They will be happy to have you all. It's a really huge institution with lots and lots of, working spaces here, including workshop and symposium halls and whatnot. So it wouldn't be a problem if we plan, let's say, 3-4 months ahead at least. And I can just book the room or book the hall for us to sit in and then discuss things. So that wouldn't be a problem. The only problem with many participants is getting an Indian visa, and it can take months. So I think that is really important for us to figure out. If it is easier for participants, especially America's, there is a larger contribution from Americas, and if America's participants are, it is easy for them to move within Americas and rather meet at Colombia. So I think Colombia can be another location. So I
Mhm.
mean, yeah. So then that one thing we remember that Paula
Yeah,
came to
yeah.
us with, yeah, a suggestion and even
Mhm.
an idea whether she can host it and she can still host it, which I think the answer to that is yes. So we can speak to her. And if that comes to that, then Karina doesn't have to travel another time. Karina can easily travel within, and across. Yeah, so it's just that. Of course, I would love everybody to come to India at some point anyway, right? But then I think we can find out location, and then of course we do have a very strong INQA leadership, let's say, representatives here in the same place. If you know, like Shanti Pappu, who is a uh, HAPCOM vice president, right, Chavi? She
Vice
also
President.
sits in the, yeah, so she also sits in the same city and she's an archaeologist. So she also actually, stretched her hand and said that, you know what, you want to have an archaeology component within this bigger workshop, you want to have it. We can even host you at our center. They have a huge research center. So there are multiple places if it has to happen in Chennai, which is going to be very practical for all sorts, for personally speaking. So the same place where I am, which is going to be really, so it can be here and Shanti can come here, Shanti and Akhilesh, who is also part of the INQA leadership, and they can easily see what is happening. They have been in touch with us anyway, right? All along, the INQA leadership, HAPCOM especially, not INQA, but HAPCOM leadership. So that would be a good idea. So I think there are pros and cons as well. So let's make sure that it becomes practical for many people to travel to these places.
Yeah.
Let's identify what works best.
The very
Let's
first thing, it needs to be
Yeah.
practical, and also, again, we need also to provide online opportunities for people participating, like this one. So,
Yeah.
hybrid
And-
mode is probably, the best.
Yeah.
The best
And-
option. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and Manu is here as well, and I think we can be explicit about the funding as well. That INQA gave us a funding, and there had been certain miscommunications between, or lack of communication, to be precise, right? So I think we can be explicit about it, that from the INQA executive committee, and then that's why it took us a little more time to organize this workshop as well, to make sure that the funding is in place. So there could be another next round of funding about which we will discuss, but then that is also another limiting factor, Chavi, right? In terms of when that funding gets sort of released, and if we can support more people, then maybe we could wait and not have it in 2024, but in early 2025 perhaps. Right.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. So if you want to come to India, September could be the best time to come here. November and December are really the wettest ones here, and it would be very difficult to function here or to even get out of the room, which is not nice. I want you to have even like nice excursions and other things which I can easily offer you around within 1 hour drive parameter. For sure. So I think from the Indian perspective, if we want to have it, September can be the sort of limiting factor or the deadline as such.
Mhm.
That but if it has to be in Colombia, then the times might vary. So then we should speak to we should speak to Paula and finalize. So
Yeah.
Manu, are you on the same page? You had to arrive a few minutes late, but are you?
Yeah. I mean, this sounds correct. I did hear that potential visa issues for India, so that's a worry for me. I mean, not that I worry that I would have it, but then months is difficult, right? So I don't know if Colombia. I mean, I understand you'd like to have it in your institute, and you said there's some logic there, but yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, no, I didn't.
I see that
didn't
as
say.
so.
Yeah, I didn't say that I want to have it. I said that of course it is an option. And now that I'm in, like I have been around for a while. There will be visa issues for Colombia as well. Yes, Sarah. So there will be visa issues for you and me, and I think many of the African participants as well, right? So Rahab is nodding, and then I'm pretty sure, yeah, Peter is also in the room. So I think we will have issues either way. Those who are outside, sort of outside those countries, and especially from Asia and Africa participants. So yeah. So but let's identify whether many people are getting affected or less people are getting affected. And that this is one of the things which we have pushed with INQUA as well in the past. But INQUA can do it in the form of INQUA having their own meeting, which they did for Roma. Despite all that, we had issues. I literally had issues with Italian embassy anyway, with or without INQUA speaking to them, right? So there are things that are out of hands for the administration and institutions as well. But I think let's identify practically what can happen. But that was one more thing. Actually, we sort of it sort of went out of our heads, Chavi, right? That Paula came up with this. So I just thought that I will bring it up, and that could be a good idea to have it, because yeah, Global South is sort of a deal breaker. We definitely want to have it, but where then, India or Colombia? Let's identify, right,
Yeah.
Manu?
And yeah, I mean, now we are speaking like on behalf of Paula, but if there is anybody here in the room as well that is based in the Global South and feel like you can kind of lead or champion the next hybrid meeting of pSESYNTH, yeah, you are more than welcome to do that, and we will work together to get this organized. So yeah, we don't need to be necessarily married to Colombia or India. So it's about the community. So if you think your institution can support, I mean, not financially, but giving, like, yeah, here, for instance, right now, IRTA just gave us the room and a little bit of support with the food, but that's it. So it's not, so all the money came from the grant. So, and yeah, and probably it's a good opportunity as well for you to, I don't know, show to your local institutions what you are doing in terms of international collaborations and so on and so forth. It's quite rewarding, actually. And so yeah, speaking of that, maybe also maybe we can talk about a little bit about the next, I don't know, potential funding. We don't necessarily need to be married to INQUA after 2025. And if we, as a community, want to really this be a long-term project, we also start to think about potential new funding opportunities, such as, yeah, I'll explain you a little bit our past experience with the Pages Working Group funding or application. But also, for instance, last week, while we were organizing this, we received this announcement of the British Ecological Society. I don't know if there is anybody here that is a member of this. No, probably not. This is first the expensive one to be a member. It's about, I think, £200 per year or something. It's extremely expensive. But there is a new grant or a call for grants that is about synthesis. Of course, it has an ecological component, but yeah, it might be another venue to apply for, and it's I think £20,000 to do, let's say, research, field-based research, but also compiling already available records and data. So it's more from the synthesis side of things. And the Pages Working Group, it's also another opportunity that I think we should really consider. But we had a previous experience last year applying to one of these working groups. I don't know if people are familiarized with Pages Working Groups. A little bit in the room. Yes. So yeah, these are fantastic. So Pages want to, again, is similar, is the sister association of INQUA. I would say, and they fund every year new working groups to to build the network and do science. So it's much more related to the sciencey part of things. There has to be a scientific question that the working group need to answer about paleosciences. We applied to that and we received a really good reviews, but with two main, let's say, drawbacks that up until now the coordinators are difficult to meet this criteria. One is they wanted or they prefer that the coordinators or the PIs had a permanent position or much more permanent than we are right now. And the second one, of course, it's the more obvious that only Charuta out of the three of us, Manu, myself, and Charuta at that time, only Charuta was based in the Global South. And if we want to, of course, catalyze a project which the focus is in the Global South, it doesn't make sense that the coordinators are at least not based in that region.
Yeah.
Which kind of brings me to the question or the comment that it's totally fine and we are totally open to have more people in the coordination team and act as a PI and as a leading a person in applying to this PAGES working group, because I think it's a good opportunity. They provide much more funding. The logistics are better, let's say, established. They have support from the science officer in terms of the database as well. So there are a little bit of tiny components that can be beneficial at the end for the project.
Yeah, I think this is the point we definitely want to. I mean, anybody and everybody should be a PI on this project. But once again, at the moment, I keep going back to that regional representation, that if we can show, because that was the main critic PAGES gave us, right? That what about, like more people? And let's just say we do have more people, but we didn't have any space within your application to showcase that. So that this time we can totally come back with much revised proposal because we have been doing a lot, right, since then. And we also publish with PAGES. That is one of the sort of tick marks for PAGES as well, that, oh, if you can publish here, which can be sort of a starting point, you are basically doing well in terms of getting the word out to the scientific community, paleo science community at large. So that is where I think we can start highlighting who are our regional teams, that for operational reasons, we have these different people, right? Different regions, I'm sorry. And then these different regions are supported by these teams. So, and these teams belong, like here and there. So that way they can easily see that, oh, there are participants from the Africas, there are participants from, let's say, part of Asia, where PAGES, there are parts of Asia where PAGES has no visibility, which is China. When unfortunately we couldn't yet have that many Chinese participants. There are people who have been in touch with us, but that could be another way. And that was one of the things actually that could have come up with the open data thing, that how to reach people beyond Google, because much of it at the moment for us is Google, which is not accessible there. But then can we then approach them via emails? Can we then approach them via, there are other means. So there is PAGES Diversity Working Group, and our lead is from China, and we do manage without using Google Drive. So something like that, perhaps.
Right.
But
So like we're already using like 2 or 3 Google tools. So it's a start.
Oh, you know that. Sorry.
Yeah, so I think I keep coming back to the regional team. So why don't we actually have sort of a sign-up sheet saying that, oh, I'm around. And then, of course, we can come up with a task list for this.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's also a kind of running or leaving a task that we want also to implement much more in detail what we expect from the regional reps, other than, okay, I'm here,
Yes.
but so delineate a little bit of using perhaps our constitution document to make more clear what are the minimum, not tasks, but commitments, I guess,
Sure.
within their own capacities that people can, provide or can contribute with the
Yeah.
with their
And what else can come up with regional, focus or regional teams is they can also individually look into maybe localized kinds of funds, which could be there in terms of, like maybe if there are certain funds which are only available for Americas, perhaps, so let's say there is Latin American Poland database, but there is something which can be tapped into, and that way we can sort of identify certain synergies, saying that, oh, the Americas and global south, but we are trying to build something like a bigger network and bigger sort of portal where we have all global south. So that could be another avenues towards funding, right? So let's think about, sort of a multiplicity we can have with these regional teams. Right. So I think it is our individual research as well, which is also involved in this partially, isn't it? With actual data contribution, which actual hypothesis building, which goes perhaps beyond that certain region, but goes on the global scale. So that can also be sort of USP for those regional teams, isn't it? That they are part of this bigger project, and then those fundings can be sort of tapped into to even host meetings there. That could be one of the ways to look at it, perhaps.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know if everybody is okay with that, or want to. I know the floor is open. To provide comments. I mean, it's nice because we have a little bit of all the subregions represented here, I guess, relatively well. Rather than Peter. No, Peter is still here.
Peter is here. Yeah. Peter is here. Anika is here.
We don't want
to. Sarah is here.
Want you, but probably the ones who are here can act as coordinators of their specific regions. I know Peter from Africa.
Olumide.
Karina.
And Olumide is also around.
Olumide. Yeah. I'm actually in West Africa, and as it is, it looks like I'm the only one around West Africa, but Africa is a whole region. So we're here represented.
And Peter is sitting in East Africa, Peter?
Yes, I'm in Kenya.
Yeah, so so that's where we have East and West, right? Not that, I mean, there is central part of Africa, which is also equally huge. So I think eventually if we have to, but of course we don't want people which are based there 100%. They can be elsewhere, but still be able to represent that region. So I think it would be just very helpful to just have teams in a way that they are self-sustaining on their ends. Does that make sense?
Sorry, Charuta, we're speaking with Karina. What did you say? Sorry.
No. I was just saying that it would be good to have, like teams sort of lined out, so that way they are self-sustaining by themselves with certain inputs from the so-called coordinators team, and then work with them closely, right?
Anika, I hope it's okay that I wrote down your name.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
And Claudia, Carolina, Sarah, of course. Sarah, we want your consent.
I would be happy to help, but it's been a couple of years that I'm trying to gather people in the form of pages, Middle East together, and with the Dan or other people that we got to know, it's very hard, and especially with Arabian speaking countries, I don't know anyone And I reached out to some also institute and researchers that are working in for example, in Arabian Peninsula or even in Uzbekistan or Tajikistan and so on, especially, and they were mainly specifically archaeologists in Tajikistan and so on. I reached out to many of them to introduce them to pages, to pSESYNTH, but so far I didn't hear back from any of them. And yeah, so but in terms of coordination, if there is something to coordinate in the Middle East, I would be happy to help.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sarah. And also, we appreciate your efforts. We know that you've been approaching and chasing people in the region, and that's not easy. So we recognize that, and it's a matter of, again, sometimes when we approach this type of networking efforts and community-driven efforts, if we only ask for data, we can provoke the opposite reaction that we are looking for. So we need to kind of persuade somehow people that it's not only about data, it's something else. And I guess we all know that by now, but it's sometimes it's challenging.
I mean, something that I can say is that so far those that working in this region, I found they are mainly global north people that they just work on it to do nice work. Sorry for saying that. And their heart doesn't beat basically for this region. So my heart beat for my country, of course, or yours beat for your country or for the region. But and for many reasons, they are not really willing to, or they don't have time, I would say, to participate. And I talk about it each time we meet, to just keep it on top of our head and maybe to get some hints from you or some solutions or some to how can we improve it. Of course, if I find some time, I can dig into more about, for example, already existing databases in the data banks, like, I don't know, Pangea, like European pollen databases, which includes also data from this site, but let's say archaeology, I don't know.
Yeah, but I think despite all that, you have, because you did give a very, what should I say, exhaustive from many perspective presentation at INQUA about Asia and about, I think, Iran as a case study. And you did give us, there are paleoecological, paleoclimatological and archaeological, inputs from that. So despite all that, and yes, it takes time. There are deeper trust issues which are very engraved in many systems across the world. So it does take that. It does take very, I would say it comes with a personal goodwill at the moment, how you have been through these institutions and whatnot. If there are any weak links, they do resurface in conversations like that. So we do have all that, but despite all that, there are hardships that we can't make those connections, but that's okay. I think we can complement that with identifying resources perhaps elsewhere, as you already said, you suggested. So so Peter has hand raised.
Oh yeah, I was saying maybe we can add also Rahab in the East Africa because, for example, for the archaeology and the links that she already has in, for example, mapping ancient Africa, they can be useful to the team. So probably we can add her there.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are roping Rahab in anyway, right? So Peter, yes, rest assured that. So I think we just wish she was around and she would have. I think we are confident that she has consented already. So of course, and then she has been giving us interesting inputs in terms of archaeology as well. So maybe that could be a very good idea to sort of have. That was on our agenda, Chavi, for Inqua, right? Some kind of very thematic kind of meetings as such. So maybe one day it would be a very good idea to put Colin and Rahab in the same room as a few other archaeologists and basically say that how to facilitate this in very practical way, right? So yeah, so we are roping her in despite her absence at the moment.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was checking because, yeah, we also thought about, you know, organizing some sort of cross project or cross network meetings with mapping ancient Africa, People 3K. So similar initiatives, networks that at some point we cross interest and we share interest in terms of data and scientific questions. So at some point, if some participant or any participant here at pSESYNTH can act as a bridge between networks is also very interesting as well. Yeah. What is it here? Colin, Karim, you wanna share something, your thoughts? How do you see this plan of action? If you, for instance, Colin, I added your name here as a kind of participant with who we can work specifically and develop this collocation.
Yeah, I can
data sets and see.
Like
at least think about a potential I don't know, workflow to really follow with our data sets and what is available out there. I guess it's.
So I'm happy to lead that if anyone else wants to join, because maybe it'll click into the subgroups quite well.
Exactly.
It's a way to kind of cross the subgroups slightly to identify like these archetypal sites.
Yeah, and the only comment that I have is talking about the regional representative. I think that now having the web page and this fair document and everything maybe can help us to reach out people and show that it's not just people wanting data. It's not building a community that maybe that can build more trust. People and wishing to participate. I think that as soon as we start to complete our community pictures and showing that we are all involved and active and collaborating and recognized, is going to be more like probably that the people want to participate, right? So I think that after all the output that we have from this workshop will be something that can help to bring people.
In the gem, I also updated like this kind of thing.
Okay.
The slide 11. Yeah, with some of the
wow. That's
we modified a bit.
You are not wasting time.
No. It seems like Colin is like multitasking, but he's really getting into the point.
But it's most of the tasks that kind of have been identified now. Where they sit. Database version 2 is far away. But it's something we can keep massaging a little bit.
No, definitely. That's a really schematic.
Yeah, and it's way of putting something on that already has some check marks. So like the website is, online now.
Yeah, exactly.
Database version 0.
0.1. Yeah, exactly. We can.
But I think with increasing versions, the risk should go down, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's also true.
Okay, yeah, but but I think it's a fantastic way of actually looking at where we are and where we want to go for sure. So
Yeah.
let's create something, something similar for, this is wonderful.
But feel free to start changing it up or try.
No, fun. No, this is fantastic. The spatiotemporal, I think analysis can go at the end of that arrow, red arrow.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, exactly. So something like something like inverting the arrow, so the arrow goes down rather than
It seems
up.
the arrows are permanent.
That's permanent. It's permanent now. We cannot change it.
You can't click it again. Oh, there's an eraser.
That's okay. Yeah.
So feel free to add to it, so it's interactive.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
The other thing that I want to comment is that I'm propose myself for the American session, but if Carolina or Claudia want to be part of that, are really welcome. We can work together.
Yes, of course.
Paula.
I mean,
And I think Armand is also around, isn't he?
Yeah, not right here now, but yeah, he's also
Committed.
Yeah, it's committed. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess now it's time for any question or thought that is left. People would like to share about what we have seen in the last couple of days and a half. Because we don't have anything left to show you, so it's the moment for getting the discussion going, and specifically, it would be fantastic if we follow up with this agreement on the deadline. So because it's important to keep the momentum. Now we all have the momentum, but we all know that in the next couple of weeks probably gonna fade out. But if we have a good plan of action, this will help us in maintaining it. Yeah, Olmida?
Yeah, so thank you. I was just going to say that I would want to offer to volunteer to assist with the manuscript process, since I'm not doing so much on data, although there is still a lot that can be done, especially for the region. So just pushing a bit on that. So, but while that is going on, if Charuta would want assistance with putting things together, I mean, I would be very ready to assist. Yeah, so that it can be that I'm having some commitment and some responsibility around here more.
Sure, definitely, Olumide. Yeah, so I think, what we have at the moment is lots and lots of notes. So I think my plan, I don't know whether you were around when we discussed the deadline. I'm not sure, but I'm just bringing you on the same page that, so maybe next month is going to be very busy for me for multiple reasons, but March can be a very practical timeline to come up with a skeleton. So I think by that time, I just want to think,
March is okay.
So I think around that time, we can sync in all the notes and start creating some of these, sort of rough subsections as such, as I said, the skeleton. And then we can approach to the respective, let's say, teams, be it regional teams, be it certain, like thematic sort of representation we need. So maybe, as we said, like for archaeology, we can go to Colin and Rahab and say, okay, how can we strengthen this particular one? It will depend upon what pans out when we start collecting notes. So so as soon as I just feel comfortable just like collating those notes. I will take your help in actually taking it further in terms of creating that skeleton, right? So that March might be a good time to reconvene. Right? Early March or
Yes,
sometime we
yes.
can set up time. Yeah, set up time for that.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. And then yeah, so this is what I wanted to ask Chavi to bring up is that we do have certain templates to look at priority questions. People have written papers like that. So position papers for respective fields or regions and whatnot. So I think we have Global South as one keyword, priority questions, and then all the different themes. And paleo is another very common theme. The past we are looking at, and so approaching past from different perspective. As such. So let's look at what contribution we have got, which is a lot. So yesterday and day before yesterday had been really awesome in terms of actually thinking and getting on track with that, right,
Yeah.
Chavi? And
Yeah.
Manu, and yesterday, I think the exercise, we just did it out of the blue, isn't it? That exercise, we just said, okay, let's take these slides and let's see whether we can group them. And we reached somewhere with
Yeah.
these respective slides, isn't it? Colin?
Another aspect that
Yeah.
maybe it's a little bit too soon, but as we move, we move forward with the manuscript, think about potential journals I would like to target. To soon. Yeah, because these examples are it has some sort of plan, science, ecology component, but there are other journals. We were discussing yesterday with Colin, for instance. There is one, humans and environment, or society and humans, so something like that. So we need to really approach this more social or human component, I guess. And I guess even if it's an open access journal, yeah, we can try to finance or pay the fees with the grant as well. So, but yeah, it always helps, or at least it helps me think about the journal where we want to start thinking about the format and what's the audience or the main readership that will reach out. No, so
yeah, sure. Yeah. So, but I think let these notes sink in one place. And then I think it would be easily. But I think we all can keep our eyes and ears open. If we see any particular journal, if it has a special issue or something which speaks to this, then why not? I think so. Just keep your inputs coming. If you see that any good opportunity there that we could easily, ecology and society, yes, it's a good one. Yeah, but there once again, their audience is never paleo, by the way. So it's just important that because ours is going to be very paleo driven, isn't it? We want it or not, but then it's going to be paleo driven. So yeah, so let's see. Yeah, people and nature is another one which nature. Sure. Yeah, I think it's by ESA, if I'm not mistaken. Or Wiley. Yeah, so something, so let's see. We could do that. And once again, we
kind of like some journal.
Or if Inqua is too keen, because at Inqua, Chavi, remember, we were approached by the editor of the new Inqua journal. The quaternary, So they are also interested. Right? Yeah.
Quaternary environments and humans.
Yeah, that's a good option.
Yeah. So they are they are very well placed in the sense, in terms of publishing this in the term of the themes and whatnot. Yeah. So, but so let's see, I guess. But that's a food for thought. If we see anybody, as I said, like anybody sees a very good option and that speaks to pSESYNTH and general whatever product the rough product we can come up with. Yeah.
But there's a deadline. Submit by the 30th of June to be free. We got a deadline.
We have a deadline.
Okay.
Yeah. After that, we will have to pay, but before 30th of June, we have a free access.
Okay. Sure.
Well, anyway, as long as we
It's a good
Okay.
option. I think this one.
Yeah. So June 30th looks slightly. Yeah. I'm only breathing. I'm taking long breaths. No, June 30th is too soon. But we, I mean,
I know.
it's good to know that we have an option. They and once again, this is an INCOR project, so they are basically tapping into INCOR projects to give them visibility through this journal as well. So but we have been in touch with the editor, right? So that's the one of the thing. Not that it is necessary, but if we feel that it doesn't fit and that there is another special issue or there is another journal which will be a good, yeah, it was Jan Kolar. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Not readable.
I know this one guy.
Okay.
Miguel Kemp.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in my department.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I quickly looked at the original paper that Alistair Seddon led, and I just looked for like global South related quickly, and there's nothing specific. Like I think there's some examples they use throughout, but they kind of like de-regionalized and there's no local
Yeah.
sites.
Yeah.
And so it's like an interesting angle for pSESYNTH
Yeah.
version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's of course some themes that overlap, but I think it allows us to scope very quickly in the intro kind of material.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, but once again, like I think we are starting with a sort of a geographical entity, which is Global South. So we wouldn't be 100% able to de-regionalize it. But within those sub-region, I think we always wanted to find those common topics of interest. And we have, asked participants since day one about that. So of course, there are certain topics which are already there that sort of, but then each region is different in terms of, even if we say data paucity, the data paucity means something different for the Americas versus Asia, Africa versus Pacific. Right. So I think there would be some of these elements of regional elements. They would be there, but I think how we present it, it's another way. We can totally de-regionalize it in presentation. We don't have to be making explicit sort of geographical references while we present it, but we can't totally, because this had a bigger scope. So my former Marie Curie supervisor was on this paper. So I think I had a chat with him at that point. So then that is something this is more broad. And then they also had this very, very much focus on looking forward through the past. So I think we don't have any specific subtext to what we want to do. We just said priority questions. We don't want to drag it in one direction or another. And that is what we are trying to identify anyway, right? With the priority questions. What are our priorities? So the priority 1 is this, but priority 5 is this, which is totally perhaps the opposite direction. Isn't it? Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know all of it. Does it make sense? But environmental archaeology, interesting. Yeah, I do know about this one, but yeah.
Yeah, Claudia suggested it, and I don't know that. Thanks, Claudia. It's a good suggestion as well.
Oh dear. Yeah. So I think we can by March, I think we can sort of park this discussion. In March, when we come up with something like a skeleton, when something is tangible to make, take decisions about where we want to take it. So we can, because this is, there has to be some scope for, let's say, saying that this was all done through community mobilization. So we definitely want a journal who basically accepts that there was this community-driven effort which went into making this publication, right? So we don't want any journals that are purely sort of technically driven.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So let's see. There are some, but once again, their focus is more on conservation and restoration when it comes to the ecology. So we'll have to find a sweet spot. right?
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, again, we can start wrapping up, I don't know, the whole meeting here, or unless there is any left, I don't know, comment by the participants who are still here with us, would like to share. That's the moment. I mean, it can be now, it can be later by email. We can organize more meetings, individual meetings with you. So everything worked, as long as it is a mutually convenient time for everybody. But yeah, it's okay. Yeah, how guys do you see this, Charuta, Manu? We can, Paula. We don't have anything more to show.
Yeah, but yeah, except that how many data sets we have and what we have been doing so far, those two advancements, sort of, if you want to flash those. The next one, 45 and 46, and then skip to 48, where it has our emails and website and whatnot.
Yeah,
Slide 45, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's difficult, at least for me, to come up with a number of how many more data sets we need. But I guess the strategy, what I really like it after this workshop, and is a very nice concluding remark, is that we need to think smaller in terms of this co-location set of sites, and then see how many regions, how many records, we can compile using this approach, other than building the database without any, just for adding data sets into the database. We can do that in parallel, but I guess it's better to think properly the strategy, and I think this co-location idea is very interesting. And after that, we can adjust or think about how the database can be handling this more archaeology, or no, maybe we can just focus on the radiocarbon time series for now, as a more analogous way to other time series that we have right now. So yeah, I guess, I don't know, man, what do you think? That I would follow this path or this strategy from now on?
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I'm a bit collapsing because I kind of dove myself to be on track for Gerbrand's session this morning, and now I'm not so good. I mean, what I would say, and I said it yesterday in some of the session, and I think we need to be more targeted. You know, our goal of that database is noble, but to build momentum, we need a specific research question. Like why would people collate data set? What would make them collate data set? And I think, I mean, that idea of co-location, I think it's a good start, because then, I think it's nice, but you know, for what purpose? For what? You know, co-location is still too vague. You know, it's you know, are we focusing like, you know, Holocene, whatever, you know why are we collecting this data set, or why would people who we ask to collect data set, what would they gain by doing it, you know, in something tangible and short to mid-term, right? Not just like, you know, we're gonna build a database, but I think for me that's where we need to to be going to have like more actionable to-do list, because at the moment it's a bit untargeted, and me, I find it really difficult to actually to do anything, because I have just too many options.
Yeah, no, that's true, and I agree that there has to be a certain, let's say, question driven, plan of why we are building this. But I guess it's going to be depending. Is this never ending kind of discussion that we have, whether the question should drive the compilation of the database or the other way around? I mean, it hasn't need to be either. It can be both.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, I think you should see that as like some kind of iterative thing.
yeah. Because
Or-
as more data we have, we probably will inform what type of questions we're able to answer or not. We just want to build a database, a tool that can be useful for the community to test their own hypotheses and answer their own questions with what we said, archetypal. I really like this word, archetypal of sites or records that are really characteristic of Holocene past socio-environmental systems, in which you have a little bit of every single, not every single, but at least a representative set of characteristics, the environment, the climate, demography, humans, land use, this type of thing that, okay, let's answer a question, let's put a hypothesis, why, what has been the impact in biodiversity when the humans arrived, what been the responses of humans after a abrupt climatic event. This type of, it can be general, I know, and it's vague, but yeah, I don't know, I guess it's a way to start, I don't know, yeah. But yeah, it's a total fair point, Manu, yeah, that we've been.
I mean, yeah, I mean, for me, it's just.
Yeah.
For me, I'm just trying to imagine if I was being asked, oh, would you like to help us collate data sets with just the idea of making a database? I mean, I think it's huge, as you mentioned earlier, like, some people sometimes that, we contact them and, they look at us a bit weirdly. But if we introduce it just like that, I can understand as well. It's like, oh, that's why, why that's, there's a part of the picture that is missing. But beyond that, I really think it would just also help us, like, being targeted on something, and it doesn't have like to be like, like a micro project. It can still be broad, but yeah, I don't know, co-located sites in savannas across the tropic or something like that. Then you can start,
yeah,
or whatever. But this is a bit targeted, and then you can get some kind of questions that would emerge from the data that you have. But nevertheless, you know where to start collecting data.
So at this point, can we go back to the biomes idea then? Because you already gave us one biome, which is savanna, right? So co-location of site with respect to biomes.
Yeah.
So we have global south mapped. On top of it, we put biomes mapped, right? And then we say, where are the co-locations as we start finding them?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that could be a.
That would be more like, I mean, we can handle it then part by part, at least. So we say, okay, there are less data sets for this particular biome. So let's identify more data sets, right? Or this biome is already sort of well represented. I don't know what that magic number is again, neither you nor me, right? But we at least know that, oh, there are like 50. So let's start with it then. So then we tackle it, like sort of still case by case, but still manageable. It is still some regional or global context because it is still biome based.
Or it could be time based, like 4,000, that type of thing.
Yeah, if there is any climatic event that now we could target.
We couldn't hear, Colin couldn't be heard properly.
Sorry.
Yeah, and equally like biome, it could be time slice based, like 4,000 years ago.
Okay.
That's the focus that helps
Yeah.
the question.
Yeah.
And I know for Africa wide, like Little Ice Age has been targeted for some research for continental questions. So it could be also a time instead of biome space.
Or it could be both, because if we say biomes and on top of it we start identifying data sets with time slices, we will realize certain time slices we don't have data sets for.
Yeah.
Something like that. So maybe we can try both at a time, and then that can be much more helpful.
Yeah.
Right. So because in terms of biome, I can see that even the regions such as Colombia and whatnot, then they can find a way in terms of getting connected to India and then some of these forests. Yeah, Sarah, because Sarah was the one who actually gave the time slice idea as well in one of the breakouts. So yeah, I just wanted to fetch her, but I wasn't sure she is here. So she is here. So, yes, Sarah.
No, I just want to say, maybe it's relevant that we also look into the recent problems and then try to find the answer in the past. You know, it's a very broad thought. So in some not biomes, not time slices, or when you look into, for example, in some parts, water is a crisis now in some part of the world. So to have a kind of to find a kind of ecological background, or let's say environmental problem that we go through it nowadays, because now it's just kind of established among the ecologists and naturalists that the paleoecology studies or archaeological studies has a value, and to help them to solve the current problems and find a perspective for future. I don't know how can I formulate it better, but I hope you got you get what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sarah. Yeah, thanks. It's very relevant. But we need, or at least I would be cautious about the co-development of the question, or at least how we need to target the database or the set of individual records that are archetypes. Because again, if we think about, for instance, ecological baselines for restoration activities, again, we are kind of leading these questions by paleoecologists, and then okay, let's see what archaeology says, or what archaeology can contribute to, or can bring into the table. And I think it should be more like a co-development and co-designing type of things. But yeah, it's the approach and the perspective of looking into the past for current and future societal, let's say, challenges is really appealing, and that is broad and broad, and to centralize this into, or find practical ways to to build a database based on that is, yeah, we need to think a little bit more about how to do it. But yeah.
Yeah, so if I could, be a little bit critical here, Sarah. So what you just suggested can be sort of a theme around which we can then identify this interdisciplinary queries, which we always promise people, right? In the form of a database, but database giving out certain curated kind of case studies. In order to build that database, I don't think one single theme can basically help build the database or build the portal. So I think in order to get into the practicality of making it, how to start pooling things, or how to start clubbing things, I think we need to get either geographical, spatial, or temporal, or both. So I think in terms of spatial, we said that we can do biomes, but in terms of temporal, we can do time slices. So, but within those time slices, there will be different themes that can dictate, right? So if it is medieval warm period or little ice age, which would mean differently in different regions. Medieval warm period was also considered as a dry period, or let's say Indian subcontinent. Then the water scarcity can become much more relevant than collapse of organizations or civilizations, something like that. So I think that what will dictate whether we can solve this problem is the availability of data or lack of data to a certain extent in case of, let's say, archaeological context, which can then answer these interdisciplinary queries. So yes, water scarcity is one of the, let's say, core themes or priority themes for Asia and Africa as well, right? But that might not be the case for some parts of Americas. So in order to build the database, when we say it is global south, what can be that common strategies where we start pooling these data sets, have them, give them visibility, as Manu said, which is, become a portal, give visibility that, these data sets are here, and then sort of come out with some curated kind of case studies. And that the topic, one of the topic you just suggested, that water scarcity what paleo can do for water scarcity in these respective regions. For example, Middle East, right? So then we look at, oh, these are available data sets. Yes, we can answer that question and something like that, right? So I don't think that can directly become a tool to make that data set. Manu, does that make sense? You can just simply say yes or no because you are really, yeah, under the weather. So I think, yeah, but let's hold on to that. I mean, let's not lose that thought or lose the sight in the long-term context that, yeah, we want those case studies. We want those. That's why we are actually looking into co-location. So co-location can act to that advantage, wouldn't it, Colin? So I think Chavi muted you altogether, but you can also nod if you had to. But I think co-location is going to help from that perspective as well. That become a portal, showcase what outlies there in terms of global south, and then come up with certain case study, and then water related stress can be one theme for sure. And then who knows? I think when by that time we know that we have enough data sets from various regions, so water can be the theme for more than one region.
No, I just
Right.
I just said that because of what Manu said, and I'm still basically in the part of collecting data, and as he said, that some people, we go to people and say, hey, we want to make a database, and then they would say, okay, this already existed, so we need to emphasize the importance of it somehow. And that's why I brought up the topic of, okay, so what is the hot topic in that area? So water scarcity can only, for example, make sense for dry places, desertification, ecosystem loss, biodiversity loss, and there are plenty of even, I don't know, global maps for that. Maybe we can also overlap it with the biome map and
Sure.
with the protected areas map on, and then we come up with our own ideas. Because biomes, yeah, but now nowadays there are, for example, some worldwide heritage biomes or something like that, that they divide even the biggest biomes to the smaller parts that they can stretch across one big region, and it might make more sense. And then I don't know. My whole idea is to somehow, as you said, to collocate everything and then to basically divide it so to the small pieces that we can work on it. So yeah,
And
that was the whole.
Exactly, and you did it for Iran. I think you literally presented that during Inforuma. You did it for Iran. You co-located, what are the paleoecological indicators? Mostly, I think you said Poland, and then paleoclimatological, and then archaeological. So you literally have co-located it, so and then, so I mean, that is possible. So you actually showed us a case study from Iran. So I mean, I'm not saying it is not doable. I think, let's hold on to that thought because that is where we want to reach anyway. And as you said, the protected area is other thing, and that is exactly the point brought up by Peter yesterday. Like, Peter, you are still around. So Peter also said that could be a connecting area, isn't it, Peter? With local foresters and even state departments.
Yeah, was the view that it should be like applicable to, like the solution should be like applicable to the current issues that we're having here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, that is how we tap into these different communities. I think each community's interest is different. So, I think what you say, water scarcity or water stress, that can just sort of chime in with the Iranian audience versus African audience, Eastern African audience. As Peter said, that the government officials, they said that, oh, give us some guidelines from the paleoecology. Right. So, I think each of us can go into our respective circles and identify what that pitching in would be and how we can draw in more people. And I think it's more about it. People want to do it, but it's also a time commitment, and not everybody has time, or not everybody can commit to even allocating that time. So I think we just have to be cognizant of that. Yeah. So sorry, Colin, you were muted. If you wanted to add something as we wrap up.
I think that all sounds like something at least I can do my part to think about the archetypes moving forward and trying to connect with each of the regional leaders. And then maybe that'll put some kind of momentum into populating bits of the database also. There's still quite a lot of Africa empty as well, even for a sort of sub-region. So I'm kind of happy to push on that in the next few months.
Sure. Yeah. So I think we should add your name to Africa as well then.
Yeah. Is there sort of anything else developing there that we can all chime in on? Javi's still outside, so he's delayed a little bit from the wrap-up discussion, but
yeah. So if Karina or Colin, can you go to the slide and can you just bring up the workshop slide, which I think is a second tab, I can see. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah. So, I mean, it can be in slideshow. And yeah. So, I think we just want to bring up the last slide. You can scroll through the next one, which, yeah. So, these are the products. We already talk about these via website. So, maybe slide 48. Oh, Javi is here. Good.
Yeah, sorry, I'm back. What is going on? Sorry. 48. 48?
40, last one. I don't know the number, but I think.
No, the last one. This is hidden. This
Yeah,
one.
the one where there are emails. Emails and yeah. We were wrapping up.
Okay. Yeah, well, our ways, yeah, everybody, I think, has our contacts to reach out for any question. Yes, I guess. Okay. No? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I just want to share a thought that is maybe not
Yes, please.
relevant.
Go ahead.
Thinking about a man comment that say why we should want to put data, why people want to put data in this, how to try to encourage people to share data. And I think that after being in this workshop, I think that I have more the feeling of we are working in something, right? So maybe to try to build up this community and not lose this momentum and this feeling that we are part of a project. An idea that came to my mind is that maybe we can start proposing brief meetings just to discuss maybe some paper that can also try to unify the language. For example, when we talk about social environmental system, there is a paper that maybe can put us all in the same kind of what we are talking about and try to discuss and maybe this kind of interaction can improve our key questions and build this community or this sense of that we are building something yeah, at the same time that we are trying to collect data and yeah.
No, that's a very good suggestion. And actually, I know Karina for another network activity, and she's really good in overseeing and coordinating groups of people. So maybe this idea of perhaps, I don't know if everybody heard well Karina or Karina's
Not
idea
100%.
to organize recurrent meetings. I don't know what should be the frequency, but one every 2 months, and who is able to join perfect to discuss, for instance, a big paper about past instrumental systems that will provide us a certain background or what is being published, and this type of, this is the
yeah.
So it could also be a nice way to keep the momentum, set up a regular group meetings, which everybody is welcome to join. Try to, maybe we need to think about time zone difference. Maybe we should organize 2 or 3, or at least 2 to cover the entire.
And we could use this kind of event to try to share in our communities, right? And invite other people to join and think and talk about what we are thinking and see if they are interested in this kind of topic. I don't know, it could be like a way to reach out people also.
Yeah. Totally, yeah. So I think that's exactly what we do for DiverseK. The CRM committee actually very regularly meets every 2-3 months. So that can be the strategy for pSESYNTH. So pSESYNTH actually sort of worked from workshop to workshop basis, right? Or meeting but we did have every 4 months or something, we had some kind of contact. But in the meantime, I think the time has elapsed and people have lost their sort of connection at that point. But yeah, it would be a very good idea to actually have very regular meeting every 3 months. Yeah. Karina, thanks.
Thanks, Karina.
Yeah, and I think we can place it on a time of the day when most people can make it, or otherwise just decide to go with 2 meetings, as Chavi just said.
Yeah, or again,
Make it regional.
Make it regional based, and which is probably more
practical. Yeah, it could be more practical.
Regional
Could be, yeah, but once again, not necessarily all those people who are from that sub-region of Global South are located in that region. Such as like Armand and you might have to attend America session on the Americas time zone, which is not your time zone, right? So, but yeah, let's see. I think regions could be, but once again, strengthening sub-regional teams or regional teams within sub-regions of Global South is extremely important, right? That's how we know where we, progress or no, right?
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then yeah, let it be regional meetings. And we started regional meetings in 2023. Remember, we did have 2 regional meetings. For Americas we had, and that is where I think we sort of roped Karina in, right? Chavi, if I'm not mistaken, or Sarah as well. Deepak as well. Deepak couldn't be here, but Deepak Jha has been around for Asia, right?
Yeah.
And for archaeology as well. So he could be another person for archaeology. So maybe if we think that every 3-4 months, then we can have sort of a meeting where theme is needed to be addressed. And it could be across the regions, such as, archaeology, if some really good breakthrough as such, we can see from Colin saying that, oh, guys, I have something to show you, then why don't we have the archaeology specific meeting?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that we can have there. Jabrand could have the open data related if he wants to. Yeah. So then we can either combine those meetings if possible. Otherwise, we have been doing individual meetings anyway, right? Manu, you and I. So we, and then Paula now on board, it's much easier, right? So, yeah. So I think, yeah. Should we wrap up?
Yeah, I think so. No, we can wrap up.
Yeah.
So now I remember that we should take a group photo.
Yes.
Before we forgot. No. So I don't know what's the best. Paula, maybe we can invite everybody. No?
Take it. I don't know if Karina and Colin can connect by their computer, or they can be closer.
Exactly. Yeah, they are connected. And
maybe.
Are you able? Yeah. Are you the one who take the picture? No, Paula.
I can take it also. Yes. Just look at the camera.
Which camera? Which camera?
You give us
that camera, exactly. Yes. So 1, 2, and 3. Good.
Okay.
Did you collect a couple of them?
Yes.
Wait a second. I will
Olumide,
like a live
Yeah.
an English photo.
Great.
Yeah, Kari's taking a selfie. Don't know if you can see her. Yeah.
Yeah, Olumide is not here.
Olumide, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, sorry.
Is
Can
it?
you switch
Yeah.
on your camera, Olumide, for a second? Would it be possible?
We have to. Which one?
Or maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Maybe not. Oh, it's unfortunate. We can Photoshop him.
Yes, I will do that.
That would be
Yeah.
good. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Olumide,
That's okay.
thanks so much. Yes.
Well, so I guess that's it. Yeah,
Calling it a workshop.
it's been wonderful. Thanks everybody, especially the invited speakers, Colin, Gerbrand. Yeah, you guys provided, a refresh and new ideas to come into the workshop. So yeah, thank you everybody, especially those, Anika, who joined for each day, although the time zone difference. Claudia as well, so Olumide, yeah, everybody at the end. So thanks, also thanks Inqua for funding us and providing opportunity to at least bring a couple of persons in physically here in Spain, in the south part of Catalonia. Yeah, so I guess we'll get in touch about all the notes and all the ideas and everything in a much more concrete way, organizing it by timelines and tasks. So yeah, and if in the meantime you have any question or concern, please, you have our emails, get in touch, and we'll work from that. Yeah, Charuta, Manu, I know you're gonna say something. Paula, speak now or shut up.
Now or never.
Use the website and send it around.
Yes.
Credit.
Yeah. So website, yeah, I guess we should give more inputs to Paula in terms of how she can populate the website. She's ready to do that, but I think we should send our inputs and our pictures and our maybe blurbs as well, right? That was one more thing we said, that we want to showcase people working in the global south. So if you have a story, share with us. We can have it on our website, right? Please listen.
Yeah.
Yes. Great.
Okay. Great.
Yes. See you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, thanks.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.